Hey guys, welcome back to Heck Yes. It's me, Carissa Wu, your host, and I have a very special guest, Ingvild Kolnes, and she is a coach just like me. And I found her, and she actually lives in Norway. So it's 10 a.m. my time and 7 p.m. her time. So it's so cool to connect with people around the world. But she's all about teaching talented, overworked photographers how to best run their business because a business where you make good money and attract clients you love working with, all while maintaining a healthy work life balance. And I'm so obsessed with your podcast called The Sustainable Photography. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and then we're just talking about how both of us have just started our podcast. I've been doing it for like 3 months, and you have been doing it for 6 months. But tell me like your podcast journey and like any tips you could give me.
Actually, I started like 2 months ago, so you're a bit ahead of me.
Oh, 2 months.
Uh,
Oh yeah, October.
but it's been so much fun. I've been thinking about it for way longer, and I've been planning it for way longer. But I started probably recording. I think maybe I started recording this summer, but I didn't actually broadcast anything until this fall. I thought it was going to be more scary than what it was, but it just
Uh-huh.
felt so right to me. Like it just felt like all the pieces were falling into place because I just love connecting with people. I love learning from others. And what better way to do that than through podcasting?
Yeah, I mean, I love your voice, and I know you've been a photographer for over 10 years, just like me. And we have a lot of knowledge to share. And then me and you, before we started recording, we're just geeking out on all our favorite podcasts. So
Mhm.
you're definitely doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. I think when if you want some actual like tips, I think my favorite tip or the thing that's like taught me the most is just reaching out to people and asking them to be on, which I know you already do. So that's
Yeah,
probably the best thing. Yeah.
that's like the most fun part, right?
It is. Yeah,
And when you see that
absolutely.
book in your calendar, you're like, yes.
I know. I know. So much fun.
Oh, cool, cool. Okay, so walk me through like how you got started in wedding photography or even, growing up and what you're doing now. I know you're a coach like me, so take me through everything.
Okay, so growing up, I did have a camera. It was back in the day when it was like a film camera, but I didn't know anything about anything. So I have never been in a dark room or anything like that. I had the interest for photography, but didn't really do anything about it until I was backpacking and
Oh,
I got a DSLR. We're probably back in 2008 now. So I was
okay.
traveling, taking a lot of photos, and then it got closer to the time when it's like, okay, I have to go back home now. Am I really ready for that? Having like a normal job and all that. And I started thinking like, is there a way I can do something different? Maybe make a living from photography. So that's
Oh,
really how it started. I took a lot of like landscape photos and I realized that that wasn't really for me because you have to like get up really early and you have to be really
yeah, like 5 in
patient.
the morning.
Yeah, and that's really not for me at all. So, same with like wildlife stuff. I had an experience in Argentina waiting on the beach to look for or waiting for killer whales for like 3 days before they showed up, and I was just like, no,
Whoa,
this is not for me. They
3
did show up
days?
in the end. Yeah, they did show up, but I realized that no, this isn't for me. And since I'm such an introvert, I never would have thought that photographing people was for me. But it turns
Oh,
out that that's really what I love the most. And the fact that I ended up doing weddings, that was even stranger because I I don't have that wedding thing where I've been dreaming of getting married
oh,
since I was a kid. Like I
interesting.
feel like most girls do, but I have never had that. But it's that whole telling stories and sharing like the connection between people. That's what I like the most. So
Yeah.
that's how I got started with photography and how I kind of ended up. And after doing weddings for probably about 10 years, I discovered elopements, which isn't really that common here in Norway.
Oh,
We mainly get
interesting.
like foreign people coming to Norway to elope, not like
Uh-huh.
it's not something Norwegians do really.
Oh, uh-huh.
So when I discovered elopements, it was like, yeah, that's that's what I want to do. So I don't do that many weddings anymore. It's more elopements.
Oh.
Um, and I think it was when I was going to different workshops and stuff that I realized, when I got to know the other photographers, I realized that, oh, I'm one of the only ones that actually like the business side of my business. I like
Oh.
all that stuff with
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
creating strategies and systems and learning how to get visible on Google, for example.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought I can do something with this and teach what I know to others, because one of the saddest things to me is when someone really talented, a really talented photographer, is just giving up because they can't be found, they can't make a living or anything like that. Because oftentimes it's not the best photographers that you see the work of. It's just the ones that know business best, and they're not necessarily the ones that do the best job. So I just
Yeah,
know I can help so many get better at running their business. So that's what I want to do.
oh, that's so interesting. I think you being an introvert has maybe helped you in business because I see your style and your photography and it's gorgeous, but you're very like photojournalistic. So you could actually like you're observers. So you're observing like what's going on and you're really like seeing like their expressions and the moments. And that's what you really focus on. So it really shows
Mhm.
in your work. And also
Oh,
being an
thank you.
introvert, while other people are playing and hanging out at the bar, you're actually, focusing on the structure of your business and making it sustainable, right?
Yeah. When other people go out, I'm at home working because that's my favorite thing to do.
Oh my God, that's so interesting. Yeah, you're in the sidelines, like, on your computer, like geeking out
Mhm.
on Excel sheets and
Mhm.
stuff, and everyone just kind of
Yes.
like at the beach or whatever.
Mm. Yeah, that's not even a joke. That's actually how it is. I
Uh,
there's not yeah, that's how I like to do it.
oh, I love it. Okay, so take me back a little bit further because you didn't pick up a camera till 2007 and you were backpacking and you like to travel, but what did you like to do like before that? Was it just regular photography or did you like arts or anything like subjects, different subjects?
Yeah, I have liked a lot of like arts and crafts and that kind of stuff. I did
Okay.
a year at university, which was like a arts, not a degree because it was only 1 year, but like art related. And when I could choose my subjects in school as well, I would always choose something art related. So I really like creative things and making things. And I used to read a lot. Now it's mainly
Oh,
business related, but I used to read a lot of like just normal literature, fiction, and stuff.
oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
You're a smart
hmm
girl. It's paid off in the long run.
yeah, probably. I do like to watch a lot of TV series and movies and stuff as well, and I think that's easy to connect to photography because, especially if it's like done really well, then it's interesting to see how it's filmed
Mm.
and colored and stuff like that. I think that's really interesting.
Yes. Okay. So I want you to describe like your approach to wedding photography as far as like client communication or client experience. And then how do you get your heck yes from your dream clients?
Okay, so when it comes to weddings and elopements, I really tend to focus on the experience that they're getting. It's about getting to know them, so I can make
Mm.
their their experience really personal. I can give them a lot of tips, especially here in Norway. It's not common to have a wedding planner,
Okay.
so I feel like if I don't help them out and let them know like what's possible and how they should do things, everything will just get a bit messed up and they won't get the best possible pictures. So it's kind of like
Mm.
my job to make sure that things run smoothly and stuff. So giving a lot of value is really big. And for elopements, I do more of it even. I actually have that as part of my like package that I help plan it because if you're a foreigner coming to Norway, it's really difficult to know how to begin. And since I live here, it's a lot easier for me to help out. So that's a big part of it.
Yes, 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 yes. You
Yeah.
know, you
So
know the grounds.
exactly, yeah. So I think that's probably my biggest thing that makes me stand out, that I have so much to offer, and I use that as part of what I'm selling basically, because I'm sure all photographers give tips and can give a couple the best advice about what to do and how to plan their day. But when it comes to like what makes you stand out, I always think it's what you choose to focus on in terms of how you present it. So it's
Mm.
usually what I do.
So do you like suggest the locations because, some of the foreigners don't know, and so you just kind of say, "Oh, I know this cool spot and I know this other cool spot," and they have some galleries to show you?
Yeah, well, basically, when I work with elopements, I always start out asking a lot of questions. I ask them like how they like to spend like a day off, or what kind of scenery they're imagining to have in their photos, or if
Mm.
they're okay with it being really cold, or altitude,
Mm.
or if they want to hike or not. So then I, based on what they say, I can give them a few location ideas. And that's how we kind of narrow it down. So it's like a collaborative process where we go through everything together. But I usually have, after talking with them the first time, I usually have some places in mind that I can imagine them being, because after talking to someone, you get a feeling of who they are
Yeah.
and what they want.
Yeah, I love that. And is it like a 3-hour package, or is that normally
Actually,
the number of hours?
I usually tend to do all day elopements, because
Oh,
then it's like,
wow.
yeah, because it's not just about the photo shoot, it's about like capturing the whole day. So I've been on elopements where we go on like a long boat ride and hiking and
Oh.
road tripping and all sorts of stuff. So it can be so much fun. And I think if you just do it for an hour or three, then you can get some really nice photos, but you won't necessarily be left with that amazing experience of like how you spent the
Mm.
day waking up in a cute cabin somewhere and ending the day with a bonfire or something like that. So
Oh,
it
I
just
had no
adds to it.
idea. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like a
I
once in
never
a
talked to a, elopement photographer, and I'm not a elopement photographer, so this is all new to me, but that's very interesting. All day elopement photographer, very
Mhm,
interesting, and you're giving them a
mhm.
whole day of experience of different adventures and ending the night with a bonfire. That's so cool.
It's like a once in a lifetime thing. So
Yeah.
you should make the most of it.
Cool, cool. What was, like, your one of your favorite adventures or elopements?
Ooh, that's a difficult one. I think one of my favorites is from this fall. My couple were supposed to come to Norway in the middle of September, but due to the pandemic, they weren't actually allowed to get into Norway. So we had to
Mhm.
reschedule how we thought it was going to be. So we ended up having to go to Italy instead of Norway.
Wow.
So me and my boyfriend drove through Europe because I didn't want to fly just in case of like infection and that kind of stuff. So we just played it safe and we drove all the way down. That took like 24 hours or something like that. And
Whoa.
then we met the couple there. We were actually staying in the same kind of like boutique hotel. So that was really nice.
Wow.
And they were just the sweetest. They had their families with them, like both their parents on each side, and they had siblings and their husbands and wives and stuff. And then we went, they did a first look and gave each other like their vows that they read for to each other.
Uh-huh.
And then we took like a cable car up to the mountains and we went hiking with like the whole family. And then they did their vows with like spectacular mountains in the background.
Wow.
And then we just went for like sunset portraits, just the couple, to a different place.
Oh,
And it was the best day. And everyone
wow.
was so nice and it was so calm. And yeah, it was really nice.
Oh, I have goosebumps all up to my shoulders. It sounds so beautiful. Yeah, you're really
It was
giving them
fun.
this outstanding experience that they'll never forget, and, if they're ever in the area again, they'll hit you up for more photos.
Yeah, yeah, and that's something that's really nice about, I think, especially elopement photography compared to weddings, because you get so connected with the couples that even years later, you're still friends with the couple and you still message each other on Instagram and send holiday cards and all that. And I think that's really special.
No, totally. I feel like for me, I try to do like associate photography, but it just wasn't my passion because if I'm not really connecting with them on the engagement session and the wedding, then I just honestly I don't really care as much about it. I really have to be connected with them to just love it, and it starts with that phone call, then engagement session, then being all day together at the wedding, and then little coffee after. So it's all about the experience.
Same. Yeah, I can't do it either if I'm not connected with a couple and if
Yeah,
I don't genuinely like them and want to get to know them. Because if I have a full calendar and there's a name on the calendar and I'm like, oh, I don't really remember who that is, then it's like, nope, no, that just can never happen because then,
totally. Oh my
yeah,
God,
I have to
totally.
know who they are.
Yeah, it gives you, like, anxiety, right? Like, who are they, you know?
Mm, absolutely, yeah. So I would rather have fewer weddings
Uh-huh.
or elopements than too many and feel like disconnected from it.
Yeah, okay, so your whole like, everything about you is about, like, sustainable, you're very peaceful, tell us, like, how that came about, like, why are you so passionate about teaching photographers how to run a sustainable business, and what does that mean to you?
Comes from getting to know other photographers over the years. As you said, we've both been doing this for a long time. And I know so many photographers who have ended up burnt out. Like I
Mm,
couldn't even count them. Like so many ending up burnt out, quitting, being really like broke and miserable and working with the wrong clients and being really upset about it. And I honestly think it doesn't have to be like that. Okay, everyone can be unfortunate and kind of get the wrong client every now and again, but if it's like a pattern, if it happens all the time, then you're doing something wrong. And that's that's something that I'm pretty sure that I can help with. And when I've seen that, when I've seen like there is a way out of it, I feel like it's kind of my job to
yeah,
put it like that, to put that out into the world and be like, okay, if you're struggling with this, I can help, because I feel it's so unnecessary. And I also think that if you're working with the wrong clients, you're not going to want to do this over time. You're going to want to quit
yes.
because it's just not going to work.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And that whole sustainability is what it all comes back to, because if you're working with people you love, you're not going to get tired of it. And if you're
Yeah.
pricing your work right, then you've got enough money to make a living and money set aside for emergencies and all that, then you can keep going for as long as you want to and you won't have to quit because you don't really have a choice.
Oh, you light up so much when talking about this, and it actually makes me feel, like, empowered too because, as we're kinda like the mama bears of photography, we've been doing this for a long time, and it's our job to, like, have our students create a healthy photography business with margin, with space, working with the right clients, and this leads us to our hot topic. So, tell us about your hot topic, and you could take it away with tip number 1.
My hot topic is using your website to be found by your dream client.
Ooh.
Yeah. And tip number one is to be very clear about who your dream client is. I don't know about you, but when I was starting out as a photographer, I kind of thought that when someone was getting married, I should be there photographing it. Like
Me too.
there was no no.
Yeah.
There was no option to turn something down. Anything that came my way, I would say yes to. And of course, that does not work long term. That is not sustainable. So I quickly learned that not everyone was for me, but I didn't
Mm,
really know what to do about it. So it kind of came slowly that you have to be very clear about who's right for you. And I think the best way to do that is to start figuring out more about you and who you are and who you're compatible working with and what you want. But
okay.
except for that, you have to be really clear about who that person is. So you kind of have to build yourself a dream client profile. You have to figure
Mm,
out where your dream client lives, where they work, what they do for a living, how they spend their free time, what social medias they use, what kind of a wedding they want to have. Basically anything about them you want to know, because that's the stuff you need to use when you write things on your website or social media or whatever it is. So that's definitely the first thing. Be very clear about who you want to work with.
yeah, I mean, just going from what I've been working on yesterday, I had a call with my team, and my team wanted me to be more clear of who my target audience is for my students. And I'm like, it's just people that want more leads and want more
Mhm.
bookings and raise their prices. They're like, no, like you need to be more specific. Have they been in business for 1 year, 3 years? Do they have a portfolio? Like they're like, we need to send you a questionnaire. I was like, God dang it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, please, like, this is gonna help us so much. So just going back to like who your ideal avatar is and your dream client. What would you say
Hmm.
your dream client is?
Well, for elopements, it's definitely someone adventurous,
Okay.
someone living in the US, someone who's someone who's wanting a different day, not like everyone else, someone who's uh, not as quiet as me, probably, someone who's a little bit more outgoing, but someone who's really like intimate with their partner, someone who's like close, like physically, and not
Uh-huh.
just like as scared to look at each other almost, which some
Yeah, yeah,
couples
yeah, yeah,
can
yeah,
be.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
totally know what you
they're not
mean.
like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like the
they're
engineer is
more like
like first kiss on
mhm.
like the wedding day or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No offense
Um
to engineers.
no, no, not at all. Because that's the good thing about finding your dream client, I think. It's my version of a dream client might be your nightmare, which is why it's so important
Oh,
to talk about it and be clear about it. So that's what I feel is the whole kind of like not magic, but the essence of this is once you become really clear about it, you can start turning down all the ones that feel wrong to you
yeah.
so that they can work with their right photographer and you can work with your right clients, and then everyone will end up happy.
Because they're gonna
that's
suck
what
the
that's what
life
I
out of
think.
you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to it, that if you that saying no benefits everyone, especially you and your client, because they'll be better off with someone else.
Oh, okay, that's great. I actually gained a lot of knowledge from that because even like you said, like the way they look at each other, like they're probably more like touchy feely, and they're passionate about love. Maybe their love language is physical touch,
Hmm.
and that's what you want to capture.
Hmm.
Very interesting. Not like your sixth grade dance, like standing 6 feet apart or
Yeah.
social distancing. Thank you for diving deep into that. Take us away with tip number two.
So the things that you know about your dream client, that's the things that you have to write about and really be clear about, so that there's no doubt who you're right for and who you're wrong for.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I hired a copywriter a little late in the game, but she had like this 30-minute conversation with me. But when she sent me the copy, I was in tears because it just really encapsulated like my 10 years of photography, and
Oh.
it's not about the photos. It's about the love. Like I don't like
Mhm.
landscape photography. I don't like real estate photography. Um I don't like a lot of different photographies. I really fall in love with the people and the love and the chemistry between two people, and that's why I am obsessed with weddings.
Mm. Yeah, I completely relate to that. That's how it feels. And when it comes to this topic or this tip of using your website to attract your dream client, one thing is using your website copy, like the general stuff about who you are and what you do and all that. But if you go even a step further, you can start writing the most amazing blog posts filled with tips
Mm.
for exactly that couple that you want to work with. And that's when things really start happening in terms of getting found by
Oh,
your dream clients.
yeah, I love that. Like for me, I didn't want to pigeonhole myself, but I did love working at like the hip LA venues, the ones that had like food trucks and the colorful walls and just like the kind of quirky props and cool furniture. So I would write my blog posts according to that, like how to make your wedding stand out and just some cool things I've seen
Mhm.
at weddings in LA.
Absolutely.
And I kind of honed on to that niche, like that colorful vibe, funky, bright. So that was
Yeah.
definitely like my style, and that's what spoke to my heart. Take us
Yeah.
away with tip number three.
Okay. So one thing that I see a lot of photographers doing, and I've done this myself, and I think I think that's important to note as well, that when I'm saying these things that I want to pass on to others as knowledge, I've made all the mistakes myself, so there's no judgment for me when it comes to anything. But one
Totally.
mistake that I see a lot is using website templates that look the same as others in when
Mm.
you're building your website, looking to others to see what they're doing. And wedding photographers are not website designers. So
Okay, yes, you're
you have
right.
to make sure that your website is working for you. You have to make sure that you've thought through what the goal of your website is, which in most photographers' cases, you want them to fill in your contact form. So that means that when someone is landing on your website and going through it, no matter which page they're landing on, make it really easy for them to get to your contact form, give them the information that they need, make sure that they know what you're all about, and then get them to the contact form. And that's it.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so maybe you're saying like don't use the same templates that everyone else is using, and would you say hire a professional web designer to help you?
Not necessarily. I do see a lot of photographers getting it, like getting the basis of it right. Like it looks nice and all that. It's just having a little bit more focus on the function of it. But if you
Mm-hmm.
don't know what you're doing, I would say to hire someone to help you out, because I do see a lot of photographers spending a lot of time building their websites, and if they spent that time doing shoots, they could make a lot more money than what it would
Okay.
cost to hire a designer.
Okay. Okay. I love that. Okay. I'm just gonna recap on how to track your dream clients using your website and Google. So number one was be very clear about who your dream client is. We talked a lot about that. That was great. And then use your website to write about how you could help your dream client. So we talked about like the blog post, and just speaking directly to your ideal client on your website. And then number three was make sure your website is set up to guide your website visitors in the best possible way. And that is to guide them to the contact page for them to hit the send. Ta-da.
Easy as
Cool.
that.
Anything you want to add to that before we go into our fun rapid fire questions?
Um, just that your website is really, really important. That even though you're depending on Instagram or Facebook to get all your clients, don't underestimate your website. You don't need a lot, but just make it a bit nicer and a bit more functional, and just have your favorite images on there, not a ton.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of sales calls for people trying to get them into my 3 month program. And what I found is a lot of people would have like these good shoots like here and there on their Instagram, and but it's bundled with not very good shoots. And I would
Yeah.
just wanted them to like bump up the only the good shoots to their website, because it was like, oh, I found a good shoot. Oh, let me scroll
Mhm.
down. I found another good shoot.
Yeah. So more is not better.
Yes, less is
Mhm.
best. Okay, rapid fire questions. Let's see. What do you like to do for fun with your boyfriend?
We like to watch TV series and go out for walks with our dog.
Oh, what TV series?
We like to watch like a lot of true crime,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah. Mhm.
Cool. What is your woo factor? Why do you stand out?
I stand out because I don't just talk about money. I see that a lot of
Mm.
photographer mentors talk about like all the money you can make
Uh-huh,
if you just
uh-huh.
do this or that. But I focus more on the thriving, like making sure
Oh.
that you enjoy your work, and that it's lasting and not just for a limited time and then you burn out.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay. Ask me a question since you're a podcaster.
Well, I'm really curious about your the way you communicate with your clients. That's what really stands out to me. So, can you give me
Oh.
a tip when it comes to communicating with clients?
Yeah, I think it's the same as you. Like I ask them a lot of questions and I get in their head and I make it really fun. So I ask fun questions at the end after we talk about money, and I get really deep. Like
Oh.
what do you love most about each other? And it could sound corny, but it actually lights me up. And
Mm.
that's why I've been doing it for so long. Now I'm coaching, but I've been doing it for 12 years. So I really want to know the love story. And then my last sales call, they told me they liked how I was very upfront. I said, I don't hold your photos for hostage. I don't do much of upsells after the wedding. I give them like 800 photos. They're all high res, they're all retouched, and they're all theirs. They have the rights to the photos. I could use them for my Insta. Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I give you 30 photos and they upsell every,
Mhm.
$10 per photo. So they like
Yeah.
that. And I tell them about that I really love like the story behind like why they're getting married. And I pay attention to what they're trying to tell me, what they want, their likes, their dislikes. And then after the call, I actually take notes on everything they said. So when I show up
Mhm.
to the engagement session, it could be 6 months from the call, then I already know them and they are so impressed that I remember everything. They're like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, so you like those jewel tones and you work at Northrop and oh you're in med school." They're like, "Oh, like she actually cares about us." And then the
That's
day
nice.
I'm their cheerleader and I'm like, "Do you need to go to the bathroom? Do you need water? Are you okay? How are you feeling?" Like stuff like, "How are your feet? Did you bring your flip-flops? Do you need to change shoes?" And they're like, "Oh, you're so awesome." Like because I'm all about them. I'm kind of rooting for them the whole day. Like, do you need water? Do you need a break? You good?
Mhm.
So just checking in on them, like, can you do 10 more minutes of photos or do you want to rest? Stuff like that. So I'm
Oh,
always on like
that's
their
nice.
side. And I think a lot of photographers are kind of like their way or the highway. Like, I
Mhm.
need this shot now. But I'm more about, okay,
Absolutely.
we're a team. We're a team. Like, we need to communicate the whole entire day and work as a team, work with your family, work with the wedding party. So we all have like the best outcome. And that's a beautiful day and beautiful wedding photos.
Mm.
Thank
Yeah.
you for asking me that.
Yeah, that was a good answer. I love that.
Yeah. So tell me more about your coaching program or how to work with you, and then your Instagram handles, and then your freebie.
Okay, so my program is called the Sustainable Photography Program.
Okay.
It's like the main version is 6 months, and
Oh,
we
nice.
start really at the beginning or at the core. So I feel like my experience have been that a lot of photographers just do things. They do things the way they've always done it, and they maybe haven't questioned why enough. Like, why do they do it like that, or what do you really want to do? So we just take it a step back first, and then get really clear on that, and then we use that information to build on, like setting goals and creating plans to reach those goals and
Mhm.
making sure pricing is up to speed, which usually it's not high enough.
Totally.
And then creating a brand to suit the pricing and who you figured out that you want to be. And then, of course, ending with marketing and making sure that your clients can find you.
Oh, I love that. You make it sound so
Mm.
simple and
Yeah,
sustainable.
really simple.
Cool. And tell us
Yeah, but
about
no,
your
it's
your very generous freebie that you're giving everyone.
okay, so as I mentioned, my one of my favorite topics is website and
Mhm.
SEO. So the freebie is a workbook that you can use to learn more about what to do, and it kind of guides you through some of the most important things to help you to focus on your next steps to get closer to getting the website and the visibility you need.
Cool, cool. And where can we all find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Ingvild Kolnes,
Okay.
INGVILDKOLNES.
Cool. And if all the listeners, if you're listening, please screenshot this episode and post to Instagram and tag us and say maybe your goal for 2022. And yeah, this is a really good conversation. And I've learned so much from you. And I told you I want to stay connected with you so we could all lift each other up
Yes,
as podcasters and as coaches.
absolutely. I can't wait. This was
Yeah.
so much fun. I enjoyed it so much.
Aw, I'm so happy. Thank you so much.